Well, today is New Mexico Style Book Club, when we showcase a New Mexico author and discuss their works. And we cover classic fiction to novels, biographies to memoirs, and nonfiction to science fiction. Truly something for everyone. And Cerrillos resident Sarah Leamy joins us this morning to discuss her third book called Lucky Shot. And I have a feeling you're going to be lucky with this one. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. And of course, as we hear your accent, I know to say that you were born in England.
Yes, I was.
But you did choose to settle in New Mexico back in the 90s. So what brought you to the States in the first place?
Curiosity, mostly. I was a very curious kid, a bit too confident. I'd traveled around Europe in my teens and early 20s, and I needed something more challenging.
And so you felt challenged here. Yep. I like that. And so what was the inspiration initially for you to write Lucky Shot? Lucky
Shot came after my mother died 2 years ago from a brain injury, and there wasn't much of a story to it. It was a very personal journey. I went back to England. I was there, she died, I came back to the States, and I was wondering what someone else would do in a similar situation, and so I created Lucky.
Yes, and Lucky is a wonderful character, of course, the protagonist of the book. So tell us a little bit about the character.
Well, part of the interesting thing of this book is that we don't know what gender Lucky is.
Wow.
It's written in the first person, and at no point does it say whether Lucky's male or female, and people read what they want to read.
Interesting.
So Lucky's a contradiction. A lot of the male independence and traveling, and also the female compassion and emotional.
And so Lucky's really just a soul that we follow, rather than a man or a woman.
Yep.
How interesting that is. You don't see that a lot, and I think that changes your perspective as you read it. And of course, lots of messages that you send through the book. What's the main message that you would want a reader to get out of the book?
That life is beautiful, it's magical, it's creative, and also there is pain and there is death. And it's everything. One doesn't negate the other.
It's almost like a reality perspective. You're getting that, the reality, but you're also getting the hope at the same time, which is so nice. And I wish all books, and I wish life, gave us more of that, because we need it. And in the book, you do a lot of talking about life support and other end-of-life issues that you write about. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I think a lot of people deal with the death of their parents or their family members, and it's messy, and we don't have conversations about it until we've gone through it. And it seems like there's a lot of things we could benefit from talking about this stuff before it happens, so that we can support each other when it does happen.
It's almost like we want to avoid it because we don't want to believe it will happen.
It's unlucky.
Right, unlucky.
It's
but
unlucky
then when it happens,
it.
you want to know how to handle it. And so something that's really interesting about the book is that photography actually plays an integral role in Lucky's life and helps her to make a difficult decision. So how does that all come about?
The photography, Lucky travels with a camera, and we don't actually know if Lucky's a male or female, and it's hard to talk about because you just said her.
Did I say that?
Yeah, but you don't know, and it's funny. But so Lucky travels with a camera, and that's how Lucky makes sense of the world. Is these snapshots and of conversations and individuals, and I think that's what gives Lucky the sense of community and the strength.
And as an author and living in New Mexico, I would imagine the landscape and the geography that's provided for us here is an inspiration as a writer when you write about photography.
Yeah, the lighting and the coloring and the range of people that you meet here is just phenomenal.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And so let me ask you this, that I really want to share with our viewers. Why do you personally believe that it's important to carve out a family of your own, especially if you're single or without children?
Carving out a different kind of family. It's the community, and the community gives us strength. And the community applauds us when we do something well, and it commiserates when things are hard. And if you don't have a husband or a wife or children, or your parents are gone, you need something. And that community, that bigger sense of community, that bigger sense of family is what allows us to carry on.
Such a good point. And I don't like to speak for everyone else, but I would imagine that even for those of us who say, oh, I'm fine being alone, I'm okay, I like to be by myself. At the end of the day, there is something about that community support, and we may need that at some point in our lives, no matter what.
And give it back too, as we see, especially living in Cerrillos and Madrid, we're very small communities,
Yes.
but we all support each other, and
nice?
we all know what's going on and make phone calls and notice if someone's missing for a few days and are they sick?
Yes.
Or are they out of town? Or
We all
but
need
it's,
somebody.
It's someone's there. Someone
I mean,
notices.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yes.
need witnesses to your
Yeah.
life, right, at the
Witnesses.
end of the day.
Yeah.
So how do Lucky's weaknesses resolve themselves?
I think by facing up to them, by having someone point out that Lucky's father's in hospital and Lucky runs away, leaves Santa Fe and runs away in a pickup truck.
Wow.
And I think in that journey, meeting a lot of people that say, you need to go back and take care of things, you need to go back and like be there for your father.
Reality check.
Whilst your father's dying. I think having all of those people say the same thing, Lucky just kind of takes a deep breath and comes back and takes care of things, and that's the forgiveness and the growth.
It's important. So obviously a great book, but are you working on a fourth book right now?
Yes, I've actually written it. It's called Lucky Find. It's a sequel to this.
Oh, good.
I didn't plan it, but I apparently had more to say about Lucky, and so it's called Lucky Find, and I just got a new contract with a local New Mexico publisher called Blue Mesa Books.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks, and it should be out in the fall.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So now you actually have a book signing for this book tomorrow and later in the month. So can you give us the details?
In Santa Fe tomorrow, 6 o'clock at Collected Works Bookstore, and in Albuquerque on the 27th at Bookworks.
Fantastic. And so how can our viewers pick up a copy of Lucky Shot if they want to get a copy, if they can't get to the book signings?
Online. They can look up Sarah Leamy. They can go to Amazon.com, and Amazon has all of my books. My first novel, a book of travel stories, this, and hopefully the next ones.
And the sequel that's coming soon. And you know, I think that's what happens. I told you I'm trying to work on a book, and when you write, you really become very, very loyal to your characters.
Yes.
And there's a certain allegiance that you have to them, and sometimes you just don't want to let it go.
And they
so
have
I
more
think
to
that's
say.
great.
Yeah,
exactly.
they have more to say.
And they speak through you. So thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to meet you, and congratulations, continued success with all of your works.
Thank you, I appreciate it.